And I went home. I told my wife, let's go. And she took me, and I was having a heart attack. By Sunday noon, I was home. Monday morning, 5:30, I was at work.
Welcome to the SGV Master Key, a show where you will hear personal stories of triumph over failures and how others successfully navigated the unique landscape that is the San Gabriel Valley. What makes us different? Well, just like you, we have chosen the San Gabriel Valley for our home or businesses or both. We believe it is the people and small businesses that make this community great, and we love to share their stories with you. We always encourage your questions and feedback, and you can find all of our contact information at sgvmasterkey.com. Here are the hosts for the show, Russell Mono and Scott Warmoth.
Welcome back to another episode of the SGV Master Key. Thanks for tuning in and spending this time with us. You know, we've had a number of guests, Scott, in the, maybe not hospitality, restaurant, you know, I guess customer service, right? And some of the things that have always stood out to us were those who really made you feel like they cared about you as a customer, right?
Yeah, and it's so important, especially you see a decline, I think, in customer service throughout the U.S., you know, maybe the world, I don't know. But, you know, have you ever tried to call an airline lately, you know, your credit card company? It's a very noticeable decline. But, you know, restaurants and the hospitality industry, I think they really have to have that customer relationship experience, positive experience.
Yeah. And like you said, I think it is becoming more and more rare. And when you do see it, when you experience it, it's sort of shocking. You're like, wow, that's so unusual.
Yeah, it really is true. But think about it, a restaurant, you know, you want an experience, you know, and so you want good food and you want to feel good while you're eating it.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. We love food. We love to have guests who love food. You know, this guest today, I've probably known 13 years, I think, when I first came to Pasadena, and he always greets not only me, almost every guest by name when they walk in, and it's just unbelievable. And I'm really happy that he came today. Today we have the owner of Lee's Hoagie House in Pasadena, Shahan Der Ohannesian. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So you are the owner of Lee's Hoagie House.
Correct. For the past 31 years.
Only 31 years. Mm-hmm. and we're that is for the listening audience. It's a restaurant, Lee's Hoagie House, on Colorado Boulevard in East Pasadena.
Correct. 2269 East Colorado Boulevard.
So you're so much more than just this restaurant. Like I said, I think you're like this figure of Pasadena morning and lunch.
Yeah. I was raised in Pasadena, went to high school in Pasadena, PCC, and everybody knew me since I was a busboy in other restaurants, and I built a relationship.
So your restaurant, Lee's Hoagie House, is that the correct name?
Correct.
Lee's Hoagie House. Do you serve only breakfast and lunch?
Breakfast and lunch, yeah.
What time, what are your hours?
7 to 5.
Okay.
Every day except Sunday. I leave Sunday for family and church.
So it's a recognizable location, your building. I think many people would recognize it. What are the streets that it's
One
between?
block west of Sierra Madre Boulevard on Colorado, right on the corner of Roosevelt, like a President Roosevelt, and Colorado Boulevard.
And if you hear some people shouting and screaming, he did bring some sandwiches here to the office today for us, and they're a big hit. I myself just finished a what do you call that?
Chicken hoagie.
Chicken hoagie. And I'm telling you, it was so delicious. It was warm, heated, and it's just perfect. And I want to go get another one.
My pleasure.
Can we eat during the show, Russell?
No. Well, So we're all giddy about the food, but what is your connection? Like, how did you come to be in the San Gabriel Valley?
Like I said, I grew up in Pasadena.
Were you
and-
born here?
No, I wasn't born here. I was born in Lebanon, and I came when I was 16 years old, attended high school, and I started working as a busboy after school in Pasadena. And I just loved what I was doing, but I was going to become a dentist. But after graduating high school and attending PCC, I realized I really like people. And I used to be shy, but the restaurant industry made me come out of my shyness and became forward. And I enjoyed being with people and talking to them and knowing about them. And I moved on from busboy to dishwasher to server to a waiter to a cook, short cook. And then I decided it was time for me to open up my own place.
I'm curious, are any of the restaurants that you worked in your younger years, are they still around?
None.
None of them?
None of them.
Wow. Well, that shows you how special it is that you've lasted 31 years.
31, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
We've had several guests of our Armenian descent here, and so we learned together, or I learned the different waves of Armenians that have come. And I think the last one that we had, Laura, was from the wave that came from Lebanon, and I think after that is Russia. Is that
Russia,
correct?
Yeah.
Or Iran.
That's right. Yeah.
Iran.
So, do you remember much from Lebanon?
Not really. I was too young, and it was war torn country. So we kept moving from one city to another city until we moved to Damascus, Syria. So we didn't have to see a lot of wars. My brother and my sister were here already in the States, but my mother kept me there because she kept hearing about how bad the teenagers are here. And then she decided to send me over.
Your family were here in California?
In California, yeah. I lost my father when I was young, so I don't remember him, but we just grew up fine.
Well, Lebanon was a garden in the probably mid-century, and then really destructed into that civil war in the 70s.
Correct. Started in 1972.
Yeah, and just destroyed it. And then it sort of flowered again. And now it's
still war torn.
It's just
unstable.
Really going through a
very unstable.
really difficult time right now.
Yep, correct. Yeah, that's why we're here. It's heaven comparing to other worlds.
Yeah.
Yep. We shouldn't complain about the United States.
That was my next question was, certainly that must have given you a deeper appreciation for what it is
Absolutely.
to be here.
I always say you have to travel abroad to appreciate this country. Yep. And I've been outside the States in this past 40 years that I've been here, and I always appreciate coming back. And I even teach my 2 sons that you don't know how good you have it here.
And do they accept that?
Absolutely, because I took them to Europe, I took them to South America, and they saw how people live there, how great we are, and how I sacrifice for them to be better than what I am.
Even your career path is uncommon today, right? Like how often do you hear someone sticking in a field and learning every bit of it, right? Like really knowing how each part of their job and their work is performed and going all the way up. That's really unusual today.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I taught my son when he decided not to go to school. My oldest, I started teaching him how to clean the restrooms, and now he's going to run the place for the next another 30, 40 years maybe.
I love that. Learn how to clean the restroom.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I remember when I was a dishwasher and I would clean restrooms, and you just it's just good to have a job where it's very basic, it's not fancy, but you actually feel a sense of accomplishment, almost every hour. I would love, to load the dishwasher and, in minutes, I forget how long it would take, but, the dishes would be clean, you could stack them, and, the cooks would
Absolutely.
take them.
I always say it's important. Your job is important. Don't think as a dishwasher.
Yeah.
Because
right.
if you don't give me clean plates, I can't serve food on that dirty plates.
Yeah.
Plus, you have to know in every aspect of the business. So when you have employees, you have to tell them what to do. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know how to do it, they'll just don't know. They don't know what to do.
Well, you have a lot of pride in what you do.
Absolutely.
And that shows itself in the way you run your business and the quality of the food and, your customer service, I guess, reputation. To have that pride in what you do.
I do. I look forward every morning to go to work.
Do you?
Every morning.
Yeah.
The minute I wake up, I'm ready to be at work.
Yeah.
So where did you get that from? You said your father passed.
I lost
when you
my
were
father
young.
when I was 6 years old, but I think I worked with my brother-in-law when I came here, and he would never give me a minute just to waste my time. He would always teach me that you have, in order to accomplish something in your life, you have to have a goal and dream and make it a goal. You dream and then you make it a goal. So I got my traits from my brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law.
Because he took care of me. He was like a father to me when I came in. He was my guardian.
Okay. And it also takes some humility to
Absolutely. I've been there.
be, confident in a job, like let's say washing dishes or being a busboy. You learned that from him as well?
Absolutely. He even taught me how to save money. And I bought my first house when I was 22 years old.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that is difficult to do when you think of the down payment and...
Yep. It was, but I was working and going to college full time.
Huh.
I was determined.
Fascinating. I've known him for so long, but to hear the story is really
Yeah.
fascinating. What makes this person? Certainly, there has to be passion behind what you do. We ask each guest to bring an item of significance with them. You chose to bring the sandwiches, but can you talk about why you chose that and what that means to you, the chicken hoagie?
Mm-hmm. We created that by mistake, and when I started, I was 29 years old, and I wanted to go into catering business. I had this friend who wanted me to cater his wedding, so we catered, and the next day we came up with surplus of chicken. We didn't know what to do with it. And since I've worked in different restaurants, there was a chef who came with me to Lee's Hoagie House to work with me. And we started marinating the chicken and serve it. And the customer said, well, it needs a mayonnaise, it needs lettuce, it needs this and that. So we came up with it. We used to call it chicken sandwich. But then we're Lee's Hoagie House. We should name it as a hoagie. So the mistake became famous chicken hoagie.
So let me describe for the listener, right? So we should put a picture on YouTube of the spread. Maybe there's a picture that exists online, but can I say what part of the chicken it is? Is that a trade secret? I think it's dark meat, right?
Dark meat,
but
it's thigh.
It's so tender and flavorful, right? Like it's. If you're thinking chicken sandwich that's dry or I don't know how to explain it. It's really good.
It's moist and it melts in your mouth. It really does.
It's charbroiled.
I bit into it, and I mean, it was just like heaven.
Yeah.
I honestly, it was just a great taste.
I don't always get the sandwich, but I get the chicken in a breakfast power plate.
Oh,
so that's like
just
chicken, eggs,
egg whites, avocados, tomatoes on a spinach tortilla.
Oh yeah,
Very healthy.
Good. Yeah,
It's all protein.
Yeah.
Yep.
So take us back 31 years ago. Did you open your restaurant at the location you are now?
Correct. Yep.
Same building?
The same building, the same place.
And how big were you at that time? How many employees did you have?
Oh, I had 2 employees, and I was the busboy. I used to mop the floors. I used to send the employee after lunch home, bring him back at night because I couldn't afford it. But eventually, the business picked up.
Did you have the same hours you have now?
No, it was longer hours.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't married. I was single, so I used to work on Sundays also.
And I'll bet at night after it closed, you had to sit there and figure out numbers and
Absolutely.
and vacuum.
Fill up the ice machine,
Yeah.
fill up the Coke machine. And if we didn't have any trouble with any equipment, I would have fixed it.
Yeah.
Yep, you have to be the plumber, you have to be the carpenter.
And you would stay how late
9:30, 10 o'clock.
and come back what time?
Oh, 6 in the morning.
Every day?
Every day,
Every
7
day.
days a week.
And
Until
you
I got
just-
married.
You just loved doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
I
I
loved vacuuming. You know, when I started my office, and I would stay up. I would stay in it all night long and just take care of work. And I used to love to vacuum and just
Yeah. 'Cause it's
clean it
yours.
up because it was mine. I would love to clean it up. I felt it was my place, and that somehow a thought, an idea, or a goal had become something tangible. And I would touch the furniture and I would think, wow, this didn't exist except in my mind, a year ago, but now I can actually touch it. I could touch the furniture. Did you have
And
that
it's yours,
kind of?
Of course, absolutely. You take pride
Yeah.
because it's yours.
Yeah.
Knowing now this story and the time frame, like this restaurant came about and grew, and alongside that was your family, your
Correct.
wife, your kids. Everything happened during this time.
Yep. And with 2 heart attacks.
Oh, you've had 2 heart attacks.
I was 37, my first one.
Oh, that's young.
Yeah, I was 37. I think it was the stress of the business and the marriage. I was married for 3 years, 2 kids. Put a lot of stress on me.
How far apart are your children?
18 months.
Oh,
18 months apart. My youngest was not even 1 year old when I had it.
So was your wife supportive, or
Absolutely.
did she ever feel you worked too much?
She did, but then, we were young. We were establishing the business, the family.
Did she work in the restaurant?
No, she worked in a law firm.
Uh-huh.
But when I had my heart attack, she left the law firm for a couple weeks, and she came. She didn't even know how to run a register or how to take the orders or do anything. But every night she used to call me at the hospital and say, I can't believe the customers that you have, they're helping me. They're picking up the dishes. They're washing the dishes. They're mopping. She goes, now I know what kind of establishment you
Developed.
developed. Exactly.
well, that speaks to you. I mean, your customers,
Yeah.
I think they love you, and even to this day.
Absolutely.
So that was 31 years ago, and today, how many people work for you?
4 people I have
Okay, and in the course of a day, you're still there all day?
every day.
And how many people come in that are new? How many come in are people you recognize from
98% are repeat customers. Just the 2%, they're just passing by, or they see it's crowded. They wanted to try.
Do you hear stories of people wanting to come, from, halfway across the country to I'm exaggerating, but
Tourists, yes, they
Yeah.
come because we have a couple motels and hotels
Yeah.
around me. But we do have once a year conventions, people who come for conventions, and we'll still remember them, and they remember us because of the great service, so they want to come back.
Oh yeah. So we have international listeners and all over the country. So if you know of the Rose Parade, this is on the route, the
Oh,
Rose
yeah.
Parade route, but you're not open on
I don't know. I don't, because it's totally different crowd,
Sure.
and
But you get the swelling beforehand, right? Of
Yes,
people
I
out of
do.
towners coming there. And
I do, and they ask me a lot of questions about the parade. I mean, after 31 years being there, it gets frustrating answering the same questions between Christmas and New Year's. And that's the reason I don't like to open that day. I rather spend it with my family.
how do you know? I've often wondered, for a restaurant owner, how do you know how much food to prepare on any given day, and how much of it, is not used, and what are the fluctuations you see?
You learn throughout the years, and it just, when you grew up, or when you grow up in the business, you can tell. It's like we try not to run out of anything. And since I do caterings, I don't waste anything. I make sure that if we're going to slice the cheese, the end cuts, I use it for something different. And that comes from an experience, because I've been a cook and I've been an owner. And I always tell the employees, that piece of cheese that you threw, that's your $2 raise. So you better be careful. That's
Yeah.
how I analyze things.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you
I'm
have
there.
to.
I'm constantly there.
Yeah, so you have an instinct developed. Maybe it's not an instinct; it's just developed by experience. But
Correct.
But you know how to prepare. What do you do if you misjudge? You run low, or you have way too much. That must happen occasionally.
It does, especially with the caterings, or somebody orders something and then they cancel. I usually take it to the mission on, I think it's on Raymond in Pasadena. I take it there and they'll welcome it. So I don't waste anything.
And let's say, for instance, I'm sorry, this is kind of like, weird questions, but let's say eggs. Do you buy by the week, by the day, how does that work?
We buy it by the week. I always deal with 2 vendors just in case if they don't show up or they don't have the product. But we can tell how many we use a week, and we always over order, because I hate the word "we're out of it." I hate that.
Yeah. Well, are you affected in any way by the supply chain slowdown?
Absolutely. Right now, yes.
What parts of it affect you, or how are you affected? Like spoons, or
okay. Yesterday I had a catering for 100 people. Fancy, really nice. Carrots. We couldn't find carrots. I promised them carrots and asparagus, but not regular carrots. It's a fancy with the stem on carrots, and there was none. I looked 3 places. I even called my vendor, and we couldn't find it. Like next week, I have about 8,000 people to feed for Kaiser.
Really?
Yeah, because
Whoa.
they're going on a strike.
Whoa.
So I have to feed the staff every day, 1,600 people.
Wow.
As of yesterday, we couldn't find rice.
What?
We have to feed them rice and the chicken that I brought
yeah?
here with the vegetables.
Wow.
So luckily, another vendor came through today and he sent me limited rice. So I asked him to send me Monday through Friday as much as he can.
Wow.
But yes, we are having a hard time with supply.
Sorry to sort of change. He's really interested in the functions of a restaurant. You said 2 heart attacks.
Yes.
So one was at
37, and one was 2 weeks ago.
Oh my
as we
gosh.
speak, on
Really?
a Friday,
Wow.
2 weeks ago.
Wow. And here you are, like,
So what happens when you have a heart attack? What happened?
I felt it on Thursday night, and I just didn't want to say anything to my wife. And she even offered me to take me to the hospital, but I said, no, I can pull it off. It's nothing. It's indigestion, you know. And but the next morning I had caterings. I had 3 breakfast caterings. I was determined to do those.
Huh.
And I went to work, but I wasn't feeling well. A lot of customers noticed that I'm toned down. I'm not as excited as I was every day. By 1 o'clock, 1:30, after the lunch rush, I felt really a chest pain. And I waited a few more minutes, and then I told my son I'm going to go check in. And I went home. I told my wife, let's go. And she took me, and I was having a heart attack. And by Sunday noon, I was home. Monday morning, 5:30, I was at work.
that must be against doctor's orders, right?
It is, but the doctor is my nephew, so so he knew that I have to be at work.
Wow.
Yeah. My nephew saved me.
Really?
Yes, at USC Keck Medicine. Yeah.
So you were in there for 2 days?
2 days. Yep.
Surgery or?
No,
They can
angiogram.
treat it, yeah.
Angiogram. 2 stents in 1 artery. It was 99% block. And I don't have any cholesterol. I don't have any high blood pressure or anything. Everything is controlled. It's just probably the stress of the pandemic that our industry suffered a lot.
Oh,
Suffered
it was
a lot.
horrible what happened to your industry.
And I never let my employees feel it. I felt it, and my son, my family felt it, because we didn't have an income for 18 months. But I never sent my employees home, and I never said you can't come or we're going to cut your hours or anything.
Wow, that is really admirable.
Yeah.
During that time period, how much, it's funny, it was so recent, but I've even forgotten how much of that time were we closed? How much were you closed?
I wasn't closed. It was only to-go orders.
Oh, yeah.
And it was 70% down the business because my catering stopped too.
Oh, yeah.
And 60% of my business is catering. It's not just coming in and buying a sandwich and leaving. And, that hurt a lot. And then they said it's outside, you can sit outside. So that put a lot of stress on us too, because you have to run inside, outside, you have to wear the mask, you have to put the shield, regulations, and it was tough, but we survived.
Yeah, a lot of restaurants didn't. I wanted to ask about how your business grew. Was it all smooth? I know you've just described a really difficult time in your business, but what were some of the obstacles that you had to overcome? And did you ever think that you had to close up shop in those 31 years?
I never thought I would close, and I was determined to stay open. A lot of challenges, but because of my hard work, I just couldn't give up. It wasn't in my dictionary to give up.
So you never, in my conversations with you, maybe even just today, you never really seem focused on what everybody else is doing, because there are some other breakfast places in Pasadena, but you sort of just stand alone, very unique in what you do. I know you said 60% is also catering. So did you go into the restaurant business thinking that this was what you were going to become?
Yes, my dream is to be big, but not multiple locations. I always like to control. I wanted to grow my business, but at the same time, I didn't want to have the headaches of the employees and the problems that they come with it.
Employees are not headaches, are they?
Oh, yes. Yes. It's, everybody who comes at my place, they think we don't have a stress of employees or the equipment, because I would never ever express myself that I'm sad or I'm mad or I'm pissed. I don't like my customer to know that I'm upset.
Would you describe that as like internalizing it? And
Yes, and I think one of my heart attacks is because of I keep everything to myself.
That was going to be my next question. So what are you going to continue to do that, or have you found a different outlet?
I usually work out and hike. That's how I get my frustration out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where do you go hiking?
JPL trails.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and few places in La Cañada trails.
that's interesting. So that's how you get your frustration out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I work out
Where do you work out?
in La Cañada. Yeah.
So I came across a quote recently, and it said something like the mountain holds a mirror to you. You know, it really tests you and it lets you know what you really are rather than what you think that you are.
Oh.
And, you know, Scott and I, we sort of looked at each other when you said that, because we often do this hike, a particular hike at the top of the lake.
Yes.
Are you familiar?
Done there. I've done there. Yeah.
So there are several trails there, but there's one that goes just straight up.
Absolutely. I've done that too.
You've done that.
I've done it.
That's hard. Very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
You go up to the power pools?
all the way to Mount Wilson.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And then we come down a different route.
Oh.
wait, what?
Yeah, all the way to Mount Wilson. We go. There's a route that takes you to Mount Wilson. Yeah, you should try it. It takes about 6 hours.
No.
Yep.
I'm thinking, are you sure it's not like low?
It's above the lake. You go up lake. There's this old hotel.
Mm-hmm.
It's torn down.
That's Echo Mountain.
Okay.
Then you
And
go to Inspiration Point,
That's what exactly.
and then but I don't know how you can connect to Mount Wilson.
And
Oh, I know.
could be, I don't know. It's been 7 years since I've done it 7 years ago or less.
I actually do know now, but a portion of that has to be on the road, on Mount
Yes.
Wilson Road.
Yes. And we even lost my friend's dog there. So
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well,
because you can connect Mount Wilson through Eaton Canyon.
even that is tough.
I forgot. Yeah.
Approaching Wilson from anywhere west of Chantry is
Yeah.
very tough.
Chantry Flats. That's where it is.
The Chantry is.
You know what? I'm thinking of not Mount Wilson, the Red Box. There's a Red Box before Mount Wilson.
That's off of the 2.
Off of the 2, yes.
Yeah.
You see the highway.
Yes.
Yeah, that goes through La Cañada.
Yeah. I want to get more into like your experience maybe more recently with the restaurant, but let's take a quick break and we'll come right back.
The legal process can be intimidating. You don't know where to start and you're unsure of what to expect. The attorneys and staff at the law offices of Scott Wormuth have been serving the San Gabriel Valley for over 35 years, helping people just like you navigate through the legal process and ensuring you're treated fairly. You can find them at law888.com or call 626-282-6868. That's 626-282-6868.
All right, we're back with Shahan. Shahan, before the break, we were sharing some stories of hiking, and so if you're a regular listener to the show, you know Scott and I hike, and we hike this particular hike. So we've shared it with you. You said that you're familiar with it. So maybe one day you can join us on there, and we can see
Absolutely.
what you got.
On any given Sunday, just let me know.
Any given, really?
On Sundays.
Even so recently after your heart issue?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't want to be
Oh, no.
responsible for
Oh, no. I'm
your.
I'm in a good shape. It's just that, my body just gets used to the heart attack.
Yeah. It adapts.
So you spoke briefly about what you've experienced more recently with COVID and those measures. where do you want, or where do you see your restaurant going next? Like what do you envision for your restaurant?
I want to grow my catering business. That's my goal, because the restaurant alone doesn't support my hobbies, my traveling.
Traveling is your hobby.
Absolutely, I love traveling.
Oh, and that must have been shut down also.
It is difficult in my business to travel, but I do close 1 week, fully closed, so we can travel with my family.
Oh.
So where have you gone?
I've been to Hawaii, South America, Spain, Portugal, Mexico.
Do you go back to Lebanon
Never. That's one place I wouldn't.
Really?
or Syria?
I don't.
Not Syria either.
Never. I don't look back at all, because I think there's more places to see, and where I grew up, because I left very young. I don't have any family. I don't have any friends there. They're all gone, or they're.
So it's a pretty foreign country.
It is
to you
for
at
me,
that
and
time.
I have no desire to go there, because there's other places to explore.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I'm curious. So you grew up probably Armenian was
Mhm.
your first language.
Correct.
Where
And-
do you see Armenian spoken? You would see it in Armenia. You would see it in parts of Iran or Lebanon.
Absolutely. It's different
Syria.
dialects.
Mhm.
We use different dialects, but they're everywhere.
Could you
Armenians are
understand all the dialects, or
everywhere.
are
With
they
some difficulty.
difficult?
With difficulty.
Mhm.
A few words that we speak, it means bad in their
Mhm.
language, in their dialect.
And how about even locally here, where you've got the mix of the Russian,
Mhm.
Iran, and Lebanon? Are the dialects all different?
Totally different.
So you would have difficulty talking
Absolutely.
to
I would have a
some of the others?
difficulty because I didn't grow up with them.
Uh-huh.
Not my wife, she can understand the Russian Armenian and the Persian Armenian, but I just can't.
Uh-huh.
My Armenian friend said that he can look at someone and tell where they're from.
Exactly.
Oh,
You can't
I,
too?
I can too.
Yeah.
Really?
It's the culture. It's the way they dress.
That's what he said too. The dress.
It's just, you can tell.
It's the same with the Chinese, you know.
They can look and see where they're from in China?
I mean, they can, you can look here in the U.S. and see who is from mainland China, who is from Hong Kong, who is from Taiwan. You know,
Absolutely.
There's differences in culture and the way they.
Oh yeah, you can tell
talk
the
and act.
educated
Yeah.
ones. You can tell the ones
Yeah.
who are from the village. You just can tell because of their behavior.
Right.
So as a young father or a father of young ones, I'm interested in how people manage or navigate vacation with the family. You know, because I want to go as many places as I can with them, but it now thinking about it takes a lot of preparation, almost like a year. Every year is just you have to constantly
Absolutely.
beyond that. So how did you do that?
It's better to travel with the kids when they're young because you can control them. They have no choice but to come with you. And since my two boys went to public school in La Cañada, Thanksgiving was 1 week off, a whole week. And I had a great employee who took care of the restaurant. And unfortunately, a few years ago, she got married. She has her own kid. And but I'm glad I had her where I could travel every Thanksgiving 1 week with my two boys and my wife everywhere. So you have to do it before high school. After high school, they don't want to be with you.
Well, let's ask Tori because she's one of six. So, did you like traveling at that? So she has six siblings or five siblings. I'm sorry, six total. But okay. So traveling is something that you enjoy very much,
Absolutely.
and it sounds like family also. But we like to find out a little bit more of what our guests like in the San Gabriel Valley.
We call this the SGV3. So we like to know what 3 of your special places are in the San Gabriel Valley.
It's the Huntington Library. I
Okay.
enjoy walking there and having a high tea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The hiking, of course, at JPL's trails. Descanso Garden.
Oh, yeah, in La
Descanso
Cañada.
Gardens. Those are my
Yeah.
favorite.
Nobody said Descanso before, I don't think. I don't remember.
Oh.
Huntington is
Huntington-
definitely, and trails.
Huntington Library, I love it.
Yeah. It's just a real masterpiece, isn't it?
I enjoy walking through the Japanese garden.
Yeah. Are you a member there?
No, unfortunately not. But
Yeah.
I feed the guards there. They order from us.
Oh.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's another thing. You're probably a person that's highly valued
Yeah.
because you can bribe your way with food. Can't
Absolutely, always.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
never
that's
fails.
great. Yeah.
It doesn't fail.
well, what was the second place?
JPL
trails.
trails.
JPL Trails. So I think I've only been there once. They're long, but they're not very hilly, right? Is that correct?
I take it from the back of my house because I live in La Cañada. So we do have, like, my backyard is a trail.
Wow.
So I just open my backyard door and be on the trail, and I could be in Angeles Forest in an hour and a half.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right in your backyard.
In my
Yeah.
backyard. It's where we live, it's all trails. We literally open the door, the back door, and you're on a trail.
So for the people who don't know, what is JPL?
Oh, Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Yeah, so I know there's a lot of
NASA.
trails around there, but even people here who know the hiking trails in the mountains don't know that there are trails there.
That's better because we want to keep it a secret, so it won't be crowded. It's
does-
not like Eaton Canyon.
Oh, that's a crowded
That's
one.
very
Yeah.
crowded.
And Descanso Gardens is in Montrose, isn't it?
In La Cañada.
It's in La Cañada.
In La Cañada.
And that's a botanical garden.
Botanical garden. It has trails too around it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Shahan, thank you for coming in and for bringing the beautiful spread. I don't know if there's any left, but
I'm
we'll
going to go
see.
find out.
How can people find you? Can you share again where your restaurant is and how to get in touch with you?
It's in the heart of Pasadena, but not in Old Town. It's 2269 East Colorado Boulevard. It's 1 block west of Sierra Madre.
And more than likely, you will be the one to greet them and take their order when they come in.
Absolutely. Any given day.
Well, awesome.
You must have given those directions a million times. Huh?
Yes.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been very
Thank you. It was my pleasure to be
pleasant.
here.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
thank you. Thank you again for tuning in and spending this time with us. We're glad to share another personality and story from the San Gabriel Valley. And if you want to reach out to us, you can always reach us at www.sgvmasterkey.com. Thanks again.
Thanks for checking out another episode of the SGV Master Key. You can find the full back catalog of the SGV Master Key at sgvmasterkey.com and wherever you get your podcasts. This show was produced and edited by Russell Mono and Victoria Allers of Kind Monster Productions. Thanks again for listening or watching. We'll see you again real soon in the next episode.
Nice mother. No, kind mother.